power of a moment. But the real story here runs deeper than a logo on a shirt. Nike did not toss out a random graphic. They rolled out a plan. First, a navy and yellow tee that matches her team colors. Then a full logo collection with hoodies and shorts. After that, the main event, a signature shoe with a full line behind it. The shoe is set for next year. The build-up is measured. The timeline is clear. Nothing rushed. No shortcuts. The brand is telling you this is a franchise, not a fling. That matters because signature lines are not built on heat alone. They are built on rhythm. Release, response, repeat. Why did this land so hard? Start with what happened the last time her name sat on a buy button. A player edition of the Kobe 5 in Fever colors went live. It vanished in minutes. The resale market jumped. That is not just hype. That is proof that a ready-to-buy audience exists and is waiting. They click fast. They do not debate. They move stock. So when a new logo shows up and tees go live, you are not seeing the start of demand. You are seeing stored demand finally getting a door to walk through. But that is only one layer. The other layer is culture. People want to plant a flag early. They want to say, I was there at the start. The first tee, the first hoodie, the first mark. That is why pre-orders feel like a race. It is not just a shirt. It is a receipt for a moment. Fans are not only buying fabric, they are buying a timestamp. The brand understands this instinct and is feeding it one clean step at a time. Tee now, capsule next, shoe when the story peaks. The mark itself is doing work too. It looks inevitable. Two C's join so clean that your eye stops and nods. It reads on a jersey. It reads on a hat. It reads on the side of a shoe flying across the floor. It can sit small in a corner or fill a chest. It stays legible either way. That is how symbols become habits. You see them everywhere. They fade from new to normal. And when a thing feels normal, it sells without effort. That is the quiet kind of power brands chase for years. There is more fuel under this because the wider numbers already pointed up. For a year, the jersey story has been loud. Clark did not just top her league. Reports showed she ranked as the second best-selling basketball jersey across the United States last year. Across men and women, only one NBA star sat above her. Think about that for a second. A rookie in the women's game, competing with the biggest names in men's basketball and keeping pace at the cash register. That is not small energy. That is market gravity. It pulls attention. It pulls inventory. It pulls budgets. Bring all of that into a single week. New logo, official rollout calendar, fresh product page, and a fan base trained by experience to move fast. The result feels like a wave. It is not a surprise. It is a system at work. That is also why the question in the title hits so hard. Did the logo break sales records? Maybe, maybe not. Records get audited later, but the direction is not in doubt. When demand jumps this quickly, you do not argue about the trend. You decide how to surf it. Analysts have weighed in on the shoe, too. Not the tee, not the hoodie, the shoe. The forecast is bold. Some experts think her signature line could push into a 9-figure business in its first year. That is the kind of language you usually hear around a handful of names. The fact that anyone is saying it out loud for a new women's signature is a story by itself. Again, it is a projection, not a promise. But projections do not appear from thin air. They appear where signals pile up. Sellouts, resale heat, jersey dominance, broadcast spikes, full buildings. Those signals tell investors the ceiling is higher than you think. So, why not rush the shoe out now? Because franchises outlive news cycles. Rushing out a hero product to feed a headline risks a miss on fit or performance. Nike is not chasing a sugar high. They are building a base. The logo teaches the eye. The capsule builds the habit. The shoe arrives when desire is at a simmer instead of a frenzy. A simmer lasts. A frenzy fades. Brands that forget that rule launch fast and regret it faster. Brands that remember it tend to own shelves for years. There is also the league effect. When one player moves product like this, the category lifts. Retailers expand women's basketball space. Buyers reorder faster, more sizes, more styles, more eyes on the wall. That energy rolls into other names too. It helps veterans and rookies. It supports new lines from other stars. Rising tides work that way. The consumer who walks in for a Clark tee may leave with a second bag. The kid who saw a clip on her phone may now know where the W gear is in a store without asking. Familiarity breeds confidence. Confidence opens wallets. Let's talk about the fan feeling for a second. The moment the tee page goes live and you hit buy, it is not just about getting the item. It is about being in the story. You wear the mark to a game. You see another fan wearing it across the aisle. You nod. You refresh a feed and see a highlight with the same mark on the screen. You feel part of something. We act like that is marketing fluff. It is not. It is the point. Sports are community. Merch is the uniform that lets the community recognize itself. Will the shoe deliver? That is the next big question. It needs to perform on court. It needs to feel good off court. It needs to look right with jeans. It needs to hold up in a cut and also in a selfie. The last few years taught brands that one dimension is not enough. The shoes that last hit all lanes at once. This one will face that test next year. The early signs suggest they are taking the time to nail the details. If they do, and the line grows, the record talk will turn from rumor to recap. Did the logo break records? Here is the honest take. The phrase sounds great. It may even be true by some measures. First-hour sellouts, traffic peaks, pre-order volume. But you do not need the headline to see the truth. The demand is real. The timing is smart. The plan is thoughtful. The brand and the player are aligned. You can feel it even if you do not have the spreadsheets. A design lands, a drop sells, a schedule rolls on. That is how momentum sounds when you turn it into dollars. This also changes the conversation around women's signatures. For years, the question was whether there was enough demand to support a true franchise at scale. That question is fading. The better question is how fast the category can grow when you invest at the highest level. That means more sizes in stores, more styles for kids, more budget for campaigns, better placement at retail, better distribution windows, the kind of machine that men's lines have enjoyed for decades. If this line hits the marks, that machine will not feel theoretical, it will feel normal. There will be noise along the way. People will argue about whether the logo looks like a fashion house. People will debate color choices. People will post side-by-side pictures and say it reminds them of this or that. That is fine. Debate is part of attention. It keeps the story alive between drops. It gives fans reasons to post. It keeps the name top of mind. The only part that truly matters is whether people keep buying and wearing. If they do, the chatter becomes free advertising. You can already see how this helps the league's momentum. The last season broke through with attendance and viewership gains. You saw arenas fill. You saw more sellouts. You saw casual fans sample games. A signature line at this scale adds a new doorway. Merch can be a first step. A tee leads to a game. A game leads to a jersey. A jersey leads to a habit. More habits mean a healthier league. That is not theory. That is how every sport grows. So, back to the title. Nike sales explode. Did the logo break sales records? The fair answer is this. The logo poured gasoline on a fire that was already burning. The tee will move. The capsule will move. The shoe will likely move even faster. If the team gets the product right, the line becomes a long-term engine. If the team misses, the market will say so just as quickly. That is the discipline of commerce. Right now, the signs point one way, up. It is easy to get lost in superlatives. Let's keep one foot on the ground. The reason this is working is simple. A player who draws a massive audience. A brand that respects that audience. A symbol that people recognize in half a second. A plan that treats the moment like a beginning, not a finale. Put those pieces together and you get results that feel like a pop. But the pop is not the win. The win is the sustain. Can this mark become a daily sight? Can the shoe become a go-to pair? Can the line feel less like a drop and more like a staple? That is the real test. The next few months will answer part of it. The tea arrives, the capsule follows. You will see the logo in the wild, on sidewalks, in gyms, on school campuses, in stands during warm-ups. Then the shoe arrives and resets the pace. Expect energy on day one. Expect lines near release. Expect quick videos of first looks. But also watch what happens in month 3, month 6, if pairs still move, if restocks still vanish, if new colorways draw cues. That is the moment when the conversation shifts from breakout to built. And if that shift happens, the impact is bigger than one athlete. It will raise the floor for the next athlete who asks for a full line. It will make the case to buyers to expand the shelf again. It will push more brands to chase this customer with better product, better storytelling, better distribution. That is how one logo can change more than a balance sheet. It can change assumptions. It can change how the industry plans around women's basketball for the next decade. So did a logo just move the market? In a way, yes. It sent a clear signal. This audience shows up. This audience buys fast. This audience is ready for premium treatment and premium product. And they want it now. The logo was the match. The capsule is the kindling. The shoe is the bonfire. If the performance holds and the design sings, you will look back at this week as the moment the CC mark stopped being a drop and started being a default. That is when records will not need to be asked about. They will read like history, clear, simple, undeniable. Until then, remember what this is: a beginning, a strong one, a smart one, a moment that blends design, timing, and demand into one clean hit. The headlines may shout about records. The fans may argue about shapes. The market will do what it always does. It will tell the truth in carts and in closets. And right now, that truth looks obvious. People want in. The mark is ready. The shelves are waiting. The ceiling just moved higher.